Hello everyone and welcome back. It's been a while, but we are back into our SCPH replays. And this time, it's gonna be a ZVZ. So introducing our players, here on the top left we will have GeoHenPH on that red Zerg. In the meantime, on the bottom right, we're gonna have IceCold in the Windy Wintry Tundras of Triton Ladder Edition. So welcome back guys, it's been a while as I've said, and it's time to get some stuff done. It's been crunch time here as the path to BlizzCon is so close. And speaking of BlizzCon, have you guys seen the virtual ticket? I know it's a $50 experience by the way, but damn, those Brood War skins for the Carrier, the BC, and the Ultralisk really bringing in this nostalgia honestly into our game. If you think about it, eventually all the Brood War skins are going to be in the game. So does Starcraft Mass Recall become basically the standard? Will Mass Recall actually use the skins? That'll be really cool to see because of the the contingency and as well as the continuity of the lore. Anyway though, it's gonna be IceCold here as well as GeoHenPH. Sending in those overlords. My voice is a little scuffed today. Hasn't been really the best. We've been super crunch time in terms of setting up for the World Cup. But we'll keep on with the action as soon as it comes. Anyway, hatchers do come out. We will see our standard pools. And we will get some extractors as well to get that metabolic boost going. IceCold though a little earlier on the metabolic boost. Did get the extractor a little quicker. In the meantime, we have GeoHen going for the minerals as much as possible. But more or less both of them pretty even on that front. Anyway though, metabolic boost gonna be coming online soon here for IceCold. As soon as the spawning pool is out, he won't have to mine too much. He can pull those those drones rather, later on into the next minutes. Still though, Sargacoons turning into these drones, and with an early Roach Warren here for GeoHen. Is this gonna be a 2-base Roach Ravager all-in timing push to actually finish off the game pretty early here? In the meantime, we are going to get Queens, we are going to get that boost coming to go, as well as 4 Zerglings out and about here for IceCold. Already scouted though by GeoHen, the Overlord is going to say hi real quick, and gonna be floating on away. So after BlizzCon guys, I hear that there is going to be a post-BlizzCon patch. It is going to be for the multiplayer client, and there are a number of changes. So, will all of these come out from the test client? We shall see, but what I've noticed, the Protoss getting so many upgrades on the Twilight Council. Apparently, Nidus Network gonna get some changes as well. What else did we see for Zerg? I know there are a bunch. The Broodlord range. You start now with Neural Carapace, and honestly, a lot of different antics you can do. Infestors, I feel, have been the ones changed the most, with the Infested Terran getting more energy for the requirements. At the same time, you're a parasite with less range, but we start with early, means that an early infestor has to be waiting on the wings if you want to get that yoink early to go. So maybe the energy upgrade for the infestor is pretty much going to be absolutely vital to get enough of a starting energy to be close to that neuroparasite, as well as to cast either the Terran or the Fungal. But now into the game we go. GeoHen setting up the first foundation of the Great Wall of Evo Chambers. Going to be putting 2 onto each side. This means this is going to be a funnel here in the middle of the ramp. This is good for GeoHen because he is going for those roaches. He is going to be deciding to play tankier units. At the same time though, Overlord going to start out these Banelings. So now GeoHen knows IceCold is going for Link Tech. Going to be playing ground as much as possible. Going to be going for the run by into the bust. And overall, it's going to be the lighter units against the heavy. So 2 different distinct compositions here between GeoHen and IceCold. IceCold has not scouted out the Roach Warren as of yet. So honestly, GeoHen might have the tactical advantage into this one. At the same time though, Hatchery getting that Carapace to allow these Overlords to move quicker. We are going to get Lair Tech as well, and this will allow the Roach movement speed to be upgraded, as well as if you really want to go for it, those Stunning Claws. But I haven't seen Tunneling Claws in forever, IMO. You don't really go for that burrow into Tunneling Claws investment. You don't really need to burrow under something in many situations. You can just bust them down with the Roach Ravager instead. Anyway though, Zerglings now scout out the scouting enemy. Gonna be forcing this hatchery to be delayed just a little bit. But now we are gonna see a run on in here for the Blue Zerglings. And now they do get into the main base. Will they scout out the Roach Warren? Still no. No cigar whatsoever. Doesn't know what tech he's going for. Roach Warren though coming on out here for IceCold. He's a little behind in terms of that. But at the same time, he does put in the pressure. And he goes for all these run-on-ins. Anyway, Queen now going for the Overlord. Wants to get this takedown. Will prevent GeoHen from getting even more information. We are at the 3-base conundrum here for both players though. So it's a standoff here of all the Mexican affairs. Overlords and Queens rotating. Spawn larva gonna be injected as much as possible to maximize the amount of eggs being produced. As for the Zerg, the Queen's such a useful unit. Now we are gonna get the we are gonna get that speed upgrade here for our Roaches. Allow them to get into the fight a lot quicker than they should. Zerglings also en masse looking to try and go for a surround, but still complete lull in the storm here. We are getting a macro game right here right now, all about poking, all about scouting. And this is the other side of the coin. You don't see much in the highlights. It's all about setting on up for that one big fight. And the Overlords though still trying to mutate. We are gonna get a spine crawler and make that 2. Interesting. So 2 spine crawlers here for GeoHen. He wants to protect this ramp as much as possible, but he doesn't really block it off. That means the Zerglings can really go for the run on in. At the same time though, Hydra Den into Lurk Contain instantaneously here for GeoHen. He does get supply blocked as he loses 1 Overlord yet again with the Scouts. But overall, going for the ground unit composition, he is going to be looking for those +1s later on. Anyway though, +2 coming our way here for the side of IceCold. +1 carapace for both players as well. They're trying to just face off with similar stuff. And the Overseer though will get scouted. I feel like the Overlord was just so low and he had to try and go for the Overseer. Will it actually stay alive? This is gonna be one close one. 25, 17 HP. No, it comes on out. And now it's ready to see everything on the map. So IceCold gonna be seeing that Roach Warren for the first time. We'll be able to spot out the Hydra Den, pumping up some upgrades as well as the Lurker Den coming our way. So there needs to be more Overseers here for our Blue Zerg so far. Still though, we are gonna get that speed upgrade here for the Hydras. Allow them to keep on running, keep on creeping on. And what's interesting to note is, will the 2 Zergs actually connect their creep? It seems like GeoHen really just wants to have these entry points, and that's the show. You can do that in a ZVZ. If you don't creep spread everywhere, this means that you are not seeding ground like this. You want to be able to get in front of your opponent in the first place. But speaking of your opponents, here we go with the Nidus Worm coming online courtesy of Mr. GeoHen. He does have the Nidus Network on the second base. And this is going to be a surround in epic proportions. The Hatchery will go down. Queen though will scout this out. The Nidus Worm now screeching. Going to be another Nidus Worm into the main instead. Changeling is there though. It will go down. Will this actually be enough? One Queen trying to do the DPS, but where is the rest of the army? Speaking of the army, is it even inside the Nidus Network? That's the real question. Because here we go with the surround with those Roaches. Will it spit anything out? No, it will just die immediately, eviscerated by the ranged units. Roaches do come on out. Now into the front line they go. Now we do get the load on in here on the left hand side, but IceCold knows it's there. So he's going to try to go for the transition, look to actually take it down. We're also running out here for our Blue Zerg. And at the same time, Hive Tech coming online here for IceCold. So game similar scenarios here, and now Nidus Network antics here from GeoHen as he doesn't want to creep spread all the way. He does have some Hydras, he does have the Roaches. Ooh, is that the Brood War Hydra skin? Someone's been playing the game. But anyway, here we go with surround. Roaches are on point with that. Interesting, IceCold really heavily invested on these Roaches so far. Haven't seen much of other units here and now from our Blue Zerg player. But as I say that, we are gonna see some Ravagers coming online as well. Anyway though, +2 here finally for GeoHen. Gonna get those group spines as well to get that attack range ongoing. In the meantime though, Nidus Worm now coming online yet again. This is just under these Overlords. This is IceCold. I actually know that this is coming. You will be able to see this. There is the move command to get on away. Hydralis now gonna be the first responders. Roaches, Ravagers, the Nidus Network doesn't even come online, man. Still though, this there's always this one changeling waiting watching, looking around. What seems like finally we are gonna come to a point where we are engaging between our two players. GeoHen marching forward, looking to go down south where the weather is a lot warmer. Still though, Lurker Cocoon's now coming online here for IceCold. He is still in a similar tech. He did go Hydra into Lurker. It's gonna be Subterranean Spines versus Subterranean Spines. Speaking of the Lurker, it is gonna get upgrades as well in terms of, you know, it will have an upgrade added to the Lurker Den. Keep an eye out on that. But speaking of keeping an eye, here we go with the potential engagement between our two players. One Roach does go down. It is going to go for the scout. Overseer though in position here for IceCold. GeoHen only going to have one. Unfortunately, there is no Hydralis here in the composition for IceCold so far. So that one Overseer is going to be happy to float on away. Lurkers though still getting a range. It's a tiptoe back and forth action between our two players. And neither side taking some really good hits. IceCold though able to hold ground, and now he's gonna go for the push. Ravager Ball is into position. It does get the mixtapes connecting onto those Lurkers. And overall, it has to be a retreat here for GeoHen. No real significant damage done to either side. IceCold though a little ahead in terms of that supply. Speaking of the supply, here we go with another push. Now, while IceCold is in front in terms of minerals and a little bit on the gas, his fort base completely pressured so many times. Speaking of the fort, it's gonna be GeoHen trying to do the same. The Zerglings though will get caught. It's a two-prong attack. One onto the Zergling Force, one onto the Nihilus Worm. And I feel like GeoHen playing that one cheeky, sacrificing the Nihilus Worm to get all those Zerglings so there is no upcoming pressure. Now, he doesn't need to leave anything behind because IceCold has brought everything to his doorstep. Because here we go onto the ramp. Like I was saying, the creep spread isn't there. So this has to be GeoHen trying to protect that one. Doesn't happen. He has to retreat down the ramp instead. All about the folks right here, right now. Overseer Cocoon coming online yet again. You need that detection. In this engagement, the poor Spine Crawler getting spined down. And it will get poked from below. Now again, low Lurkers are just such good units in general. They have that AoE against light, they have that extra damage against heavy. So, more or less, armored rather, I just say heavy. But more or less, them being in position is a death knell for any kind of units. Corrosive Vial though will do its job. It takes care of stationary targets like the Lurker, easily taking it down. In the meantime, Tiptoe yet again. This is a ballet no one wants to miss. Lurker's now on the left-hand side yet again. And look at this range they're covering. Anytime that IceCold decides to step on the creep, he will get poked after. And honestly, the creep tumor spread that IceCold took care of might not have helped him in this situation. This small distance from the ramp to the creep does have that significant slow. And GeoHen can easily respond to get in the way in the face of his opponent. Speaking of that speed, there you go, Corrosive coming yet again. Now there is an attack on the right hand side. It goes for the extractor. Nothing really happening here for GeoHen so far. Realizes it's there and will go for the response. He doesn't want to split his army though. The Lurkers right now will be left unchecked. And here we go with the Roaches, the Ravage pushing on in yet again. Corrosive from above, gonna land on down to the bulk. And IceCold taking some really big hits there. And then GeoHen though looking to poke yet again. Now the Lurkers can decide it's time to back on out. And both sides on even speed. Overseer though just floating on in. Look how quick that one comes. The Roaches though are in position yet again. Here we have the reinforcement cycle. And it's a tiptoe one more time. IceCold now backing on out. But GeoHen has done significant damage on the main base. At the same time, while all that was happening, the Zerglings did get into the Nihilus Worm. And now main base getting hit, hampered so much. IceCold taking way too long to decide on what to do. And with the Nihilus Wetwork, that's so much pressure being applied by a red Zerg. So overall, who is the big winner? GeoHen protecting the creep, protecting his base, protecting his Lurkers, and getting the poke. At the same time, IceCold needs to figure out what to do. The ball keeps on coming. And at the same time, he is going to decide to face off with +3 on both range and carapace. In the meantime, GeoHen already switching tech. He has built up the Spire, gonna go for the Greater Spire, looking to build some Broodlords into the next one. Broodlords, honestly, a top tier unit. Never go wrong with that. At the same time, the Infestation Pit. One Zergling. Trying. It's doing its best, guys. It's doing its best. Nihilus Worm, though, will get caught. Will IceCold actually realize this thing is under attack? He sees the thing blinking red. And the Queen is just watching. It's like, you know, it's just there. Oh, finally realizes it. transfuses the infestation, protects it in a last-ditch effort, sure. But things look a little dire here for IceCold. He lost so many workers in that one engagement while he was too busy in the front. And honestly, protect your back line if your front line is gonna be going for that clash. Maybe a queen in position could have helped on outs, or a full pull of the queens all around the map anyway. You have that creep spread, can micro that one out. Still though, GeoHen now looking to max out. He is still going for the roaches though. He does have a few broodlords as well as artillery supports. And this might be the beginning of the end. The Corruptor now will get spotted. He does know that he will not really be facing off against any anti-air. Anyway, Lurker's Night now coming online. Will be coming out with that deep tunnel. Now here we go yet again. Lurkers in position. Gonna be setting on up. Gonna be providing those circles of demise. Here we go with a pretty quick concave here from IceCold. But GeoHen getting the first hits. That's actually some significant damage done. Lurkers though will get run over. And GeoHen has to back on out. But now the coming storm is waiting in the middle. The Broodlords are just floating. Looking to find a target. Looking to spit those babies onto them. IceCold in the meantime, running out of time and minerals to actually keep this one up. We have some changelings in the back as well. They will pretend to be part of any kind of army. In the meantime, Overlords are here. You have the Hydralisk coming back as well. A little bit of that anti-air to go around with the Roaches, to go with the Ravagers, to go with those Lurkers. And speaking of the Lurkers, here they come once more time. So why are Lurkers so popular right now? Seems like the AoE very useful. You want to be going for some really good damage against those Roaches and Ravagers anyway. But at the same time, Ravagers do put a big hurt onto them with those Corrosive Vial hits. Now speaking of the hurting, Nidus Worm coming yet again. GeoHen is just tossing these Zerglings so much into the fire, into the furnace, into the Nidus Worm itself. Anyway, as we hear the screech, this might be a clash that IceCold needs to take right here, right now. Because here we go with the engagement. IceCold just runs forward and immediately the Lurkers get taken down before they even get to burrow on in. Now, it is going to be the Roaches trying to concave. The Hydras are on the back. The Zerglings now trying to come into the front. And IceCold and GeoHen taking significant but similar hits. But these Broodlords completely uncontested. Where are the Hydras? Nowhere to be seen. The Broodlords getting some free hits. The Zerglings do get stopped with the Roaches split up, but IceCold has to commit and has to find a way to take care of these flyers. Look at that, pokes from above, oversight here from the Overseer, getting some extra range. Now he wants to go for that hatchery, might be able to take it down, sure, but he's going into this small little choke. The Broodlords are getting in position. The Bile will be very useful if it comes. And honestly, with GeoHen having that air unit, the poor Queen though, oh my god, this Queen leading the charge. He really wants to go for it. Will go for the chase down. Will this lead to the takedown? Because the Nidus Worm pressure is still keeping on coming. GeoHen does not care. IceCold though with a quick little pincer attack on the right hand side. So this base will go down, sure. Spinecrawlers are in position. No response whatsoever. The army deciding to go for the chase instead. And now, here we go with the Zerglings onto that main base. Gonna be spot on out yet again. Onto the Queen they go. And I feel like the target right now isn't gonna be anything but the tech. It might be into the infestation pit. It might be into the hive. If the hive goes down, that's actually a big hit. Because tier 3 structures will not be going online anytime soon. It is burning on up for you, baby. But the Spire is ready to go. Can turn it into Greater Spire anytime. He will be able to build some Corruptors as well to help out in this situation. Fight looking really grim here for IceCold. It seems like he cooled off after a pretty hot start. And now GeoHen having his location. Gonna be flying on around with the Corruptors and Broodlords still ready to go. Now this is just what you do. If your opponent doesn't respect your air game, you build more of them. Build more of these Broodlords. Where are the Hydras? Barely even there. There's how many Hydras? Less than a dozen. It's cheaper, sure, but it just isn't working on outs. We do get the upgrades though. Look at that. Adrenal Claws already ready to go for GeoHen as well. So these Nidus Pilks are really annoying. We are going to get that Lurker upgrade as well to be able to get them burrowed even quicker. Now still, into the pokes we go, into the main base we go. This might be the beginning of the end here for our boy IceCold, because GeoHen looking scary, gonna get in position one more time. And that Broodlords getting some really good sight lines here. It's just really all this back and forth motions are not helping IceCold anymore. It doesn't work out. He is going to be taking too much of his micro away from defending his base. And with him doing that, the Broodlords are now in position, doesn't even care anymore. Look at that, they're just holding their ground, floating above the ground units on the right hand side. And this has to be game over. The Corruptors though do some significant damage, sure, but the Hydras are there to try and dissuade this. The Lurkers right now pushing forward yet again. The Broodlords taking some hits. Here we go with the Corruptors now, getting taken down one by one. 2 go down, 3 go down, a 4th will die. And this has to be game over, man. Game over for IceCold. GeoHen putting in the pressure, putting in the work. Now they go into the significant base, and that is gonna be GG. No call whatsoever, just leaves the game. GeoHen with a well-deserved victory, defending well and going for the attack. So fighting one fight well is good. Fighting 2 fights at the same time well is even better. So that's been the game. I'll see you guys in the next one.